Hi, I'm Dr. Varudhini Kankipati, a counselling psychologist, and welcome to my channel. One of the most important relationships we have is friendships. Friendships is something that we choose. It's not like family where it's given. It's relationships that we choose, time that we spend and invest for support. And friendships are a great support system when you get it right. But sometimes these friendships can become unhealthy. And so we're going to spend a little bit of time today and talk about what are some of the signs that your friendship is not so healthy and what can we do about it. First and foremost, one of the most important indicators that your friendship is in an unhealthy place is when you find that when you're spending time with your friend, you feel more exhausted after the conversation than when you went in. And has that happened to you? I know it has happened to me quite a few times. When I'm with someone and I'm talking to them and I'm at the end of that, even if it's like 20 minutes after the conversation, you come out of it and you feel somehow exhausted and tired, and it feels like there's a depletion of energy. And the same thing goes to people who, when you talk to them, to other friends, and you feel so energized and pumped and you can't wait to see them again and spend more time with them. If that happens to you, that's a good indicator that something might be going on with your friendships, and there's something that's making you feel depleted in the interaction with your friend. Another indicator that it has become unhealthy is when you realize that your friendship seems to be more one-sided, meaning that every time you're with your friend and they're going through a hard time or they're going through something where they require more support, they can call you and you will pick up their phone, you will try and rearrange or even drop things because you know that your friend needs you at this time, and you'll go. And then you're there for your friend all the time, but that can't be the same thing reciprocated. So for example, when you need your friend and you're like having a hard time, you pick up the phone, call them, they answer, and then you're like, hey, I really need to talk to someone, are you free this evening, or maybe today or tomorrow, can you give me some time? And the friend's like, oh, I really can't do that right now, maybe we can do it some other time, but doesn't give you another time. If that happens, you realize, just introspect and see that maybe this is more of an investment of you and less from the other person. Then you will realize that this is a kind of a one-sided friendship, and that happens a lot. And also you will notice that when you talk to your friend, when you need to offload or even talk about what you're going through, you notice that your friend doesn't actually have too much of mental space to listen to you and be there for you. But it's not the same from your side. You're always there, you're listening a lot to all that is going on, and it's not the same. Another indicator for an unhealthy relationship is when you start to feel like when you're talking with your friend, you're always falling short of being a good friend. Your friend would be like, well, why didn't you come here? I was going through such a tough time and you weren't there. I'm moving and I was expecting you to be there and help me with some of these things. What happens in that type of a communication is, so when you feel like you're not being able to meet their expectation as a friend, and somewhere you're always feeling guilty for not doing or being enough for your friend, then that's also something for you to introspect. Another indicator is when somewhere you realize in your friendship you'll be sharing and doing things with your friend and really being vulnerable and talking about every thought that comes to your mind, and then you slowly realize that whatever you're sharing with your friend is being spoken about with someone else. So they're talking about you behind your back, and then that doesn't help, because when that happens, that means they do not respect you enough to keep whatever is happening between you and your friend, and that they're using whatever you're saying behind your back to make them either feel better or they want to talk about something about you, but basically they violated the trust that you both have. Another indicator is when you don't feel like you can trust your friend because you feel like whatever you share with your friend is going to be somewhere used against you, or misunderstood or misconstrued, or even just attack you with it later on. And so when you feel like you're not able to trust, or that whatever you're sharing is received with the intention it needs to, or the meaning it has is very clear, that it's confidential and you want it to be treated with respect, but that information is used somehow against you, then clearly you're missing, or you know that you can't trust your friend. So when you feel that in your gut, then that's a good indicator. Another indicator is when, frankly, your friend just doesn't show up. You were expecting your friend to accompany you somewhere, and your friend says, yeah, I'll be there, we'll go together. And so in your mind, you're like prepping to think, okay, we both are going to do this, and maybe we can meet some other friends. And you start making the plans accordingly. In the last minute, for no real good reason, the friend just doesn't show up, doesn't even answer the phone, and you're just waiting there. You're confused. So a no-show is also not a good indicator of a healthy relationship. When you know that you need to confront your friend, and you start to worry about the way it's going to be understood, and you feel very scared to be able to have an honest, brutal conversation where you really want to talk about certain things that's upsetting you, but you don't do it with your friend, and you're so worried and scared about how it's going to be received. So instead you ignore it and put it under the carpet, and you keep moving ahead, but you know you're sitting with that form of resentment and unsolved issue, and it just builds, but you're not able to do that. That should make you stop and think about what is it that you have in your friendship. So basically, in a nutshell, when introspect all your friendship, and normally these behaviors are never a one-off behavior. In friendship, they're a pattern of behaviors. You will not even see it right in the beginning. It's when you have spent a lot of time with your friend, not only in terms of years, but in quantity and interactions that you've had, that some of these behavior patterns will be seen, and it's never one-off. It's like a pattern. You will repeatedly see, consistently being in your relationship. That's when you need to stop and think, okay, there's something about this friendship that's just unhealthy. And when that happens to you, you need to stop and think, what do you want to do about it? If you're feeling anxious, you don't have trust, you feel like the energy is just not more negative than positive, feel like you can't count on your friend, you think that, whatever you share might be used against you. All of these indicators clearly show that you have a friend, but there's a big part of that friendship is just not feeling right. This is a good time for you to stop, introspect, and think whether this friendship is even worth it. And if it is, then do you want to do something about it and try and confront it, talk about it? Do you have a space that you can go and talk about it? Second is, it's very clear you'll have, even if you want to engage in the friendship, you might need to put some boundary lines so that you don't get hurt. So open communication, setting boundaries, and also understanding if none of this is working, you might have to just kind of slowly get out of the friendship if you realize that it's just toxic and it's not working for you. So I hope these pointers on what is unhealthy in friendship and also what you can do about it helps you. Friendship is something that is very, very important in our mental health. We do need friendships, not only for support, but for experiences and just feeling like we're part of a larger community, and it's nurturing. One needs to nurture friendships, but one also needs to understand what type of friendships we have, how much time do we need to invest in it, and how do we improve the quality of our friendships. So I hope this video resonates with you guys. If it does, please do like, share, and subscribe. And I will look forward to seeing you guys soon. So take care. Bye.